Well, hello there. My name is sometimes Heather and I play Elder Scrolls Online. Last time, I took my Magicka Arcanist, Adelaine Rose, through Blessed Crucible, and today, I wanted to show you her build in more detail. Let's start with appearances for a change. My roses tend to have white oracle eyes. As Adelaine is mother to them all, I figured her to be the source. Eye color is an inherited trait, so I wanted Adelaine to have the same oracle eyes. I gave her the wavy triple bun hairstyle and the Passion's Muse personality. The Serenity is a nice contrast, I feel, to her combat style. As Adelaine is an Arcanist whose abilities shine with a green hue, I chose to have her wear shades of dark grey and bright green. Scrolls of the Arcanist tattoo mark her skin, though they are faded, barely visible. Perhaps that speaks of her age, or perhaps a vampire skin is immune to earthly things such as ink. I have given Adelaine 2 destruction staffs. Let's start with her backup weapon, which I have filled with hexes and curses I like to cast before combat. First, we have Structured Entropy from Mage's Guild. This deals a set amount of magic damage over 24 seconds and also heals Adelaine during that time. I really like the way this binds damage and healing together, and often use this with my vampires. Next, we have Inspired Scholarship. This one etches runes on Adelaine's weapon, causing it to pulse with a toxic green glow. Each pulse enhances glass abilities, and striking an enemy with one will deal an additional amount of magic damage. While slotted in either ability bar, Inspired Scholarship grants Adelaine Major Brutality and Major Sorcery, which boost weapon and spell damage. I really like this ability and highly recommend taking advantage of it. As every vampire needs a way to heal, I have given Adelaine Evolving Runement. This heals Adelaine and her allies and generates crux. I use Runement mostly after combat if Adelaine's health seems a touch low. It's fast, easy and very convenient. Next, we have Elemental Susceptibility. This reduces an enemy's defense by applying Major Breach. Every 7.5 seconds, the affected enemy is also afflicted with 3 status effects: Burning, Chilled, and Concussed. I haven't used this much, but from what I've gathered, this is pretty useful when battling large, singular enemies. This is often used in PvP, and it's quite easy to see why. Last, on this staff we have Blood Mist. This allows Adelaine to leap at unsuspecting enemies as red mist to deal a set amount of magic damage every 2 seconds for 20 seconds at a time. While this is active, Adelaine also heals for a fraction of damage done. I like to cast everything except Runement before combat and open with Blood Mist. The new version of Blood Mist gained a lot of critique, but I really like the way it adds to immersion. Speaking of immersion, let's enjoy our ultimate, the Blood Scion, for a bit.
Not configured for combat. Ouch. And so it ends.
Adelaine's abilities mostly come from Herald of the Tome, Curative Rune Forms, Destruction Staff, Vampire and Mage's Guild skill lines. I would encourage you to get all passives from these lines, along with passives from Dark Elf and Light Armor skill lines. I would like to draw attention to Splintered Secrets. This passive increases physical and spell penetration per each Herald of the Tome ability slotted. It seems focusing on one skill line might pay off with Arcanists. Let's move on to Adelaine's main weapon, another lightning staff. First, we have escalating rune blades. This sends runes to fly out at enemies. The runes all do damage in 3 stages with escalating damage numbers. The last rune explodes and deals damage to all enemies nearby. The runes also create crocs. The amount of damage this deals is increased by each active crux, so it pays off to have all 3 active when using this. Due to that, I like to use this as a spammer. Next, we have Storm Pulsar. This is my absolute favorite way to get rid of small hordes. Pulsar sends out a blast of shock energy, which deals a set amount of damage to all enemies around. It also afflicts enemies hit with minor mangle, which reduces their maximum health. And the more enemies you hit, the more damage you do. Then we have Shock Clench. This deals a set amount of shock damage to a single enemy and also grants them a concussion. As the enemy is hit, an explosion follows and a blast of shock damage injures all enemies around. I like to use this at the start of combat and then move on to escalating rune blades. Next, we have Pragmatic Fate Carver. This is a channeled ability which costs Magicka when used. When cast, Pragmatic Fate Carver consumes all crux to increase damage done and decrease the cost. The maximum channel time is 4.5 seconds, and during that time, all those who come in contact with the green beam take a set amount of magic damage. When cast, Pragmatic Fate Carver also grants a damage shield that absorbs incoming damage and grants immunity to being interrupted. I'm uncertain if the immunity is foolproof though. Last, we have Reconstructive Domain. I have to be honest, I picked this ability mainly because I like the way it looks layered with blood mist. After using it, I noted that I also really like its proper function. This draws a green vortex into the ground. Standing inside it, Adelaine and her allies are granted minor courage, minor fortitude, minor intellect, and minor endurance. These boost weapon and spell damage along with health, magicka, and stamina recovery. The vortex also heals everyone over 20 seconds. So if you see a green circle during, say, a boss battle, do stand in it. I really like the effects of this one, and it kinda sorta made me look toward healer builds a bit more. For Adelaine's armor, I have gone with my usual 3 sets. Let's start with an overland set from Cold Harbor. The Stygian set adds to weapon and spell damage and offensive penetration. With 5 pieces equipped, an interesting perk is unlocked. When you leave sneak or invisibility in combat, your weapon and spell damage is increased by a set amount for 15 seconds. I figured Blood Mist triggers this, especially when enemies are first disturbed with curses such as Entropy. I have this covering both weapons and all jewelry slots. For our second set, I picked something a little bit more difficult to obtain. Noble Duelist Silks drop from Blessed Crucible, a group dungeon in the Rift. These pieces cannot be bought. If you want the set, you have to go in and farm it out. Luckily, Blessed Crucible isn't that hard, especially in normal difficulty. Noble Duelist Silks add to stamina recovery and weapon and spell damage. With a full set on, dealing damage with a light or heavy attack at melee range increases the damage of light and heavy attacks against monsters for 15 seconds at a time. You can see this triggering by an orange glow around the arms. I really like this set and do recommend grinding it out. But if you don't feel like farming in a group dungeon, the War Maiden set from Vvardenfell might be a good option. It grants a boost to critical chance, maximum magicka, and weapon and spell damage. With 5 pieces equipped, War Maiden adds weapon and spell damage to magic damage abilities. For our monster set, I have chosen Marianne. The helm drops when you slay the last boss in Crypt of Hearts 2 in Veteran. Shoulders can be purchased from undaunted vendors. Marianne adds 2 weapon and spell damage. With both pieces equipped, you have a 15% chance to summon a Leech Crystal to deal magic damage to all enemies around. This can happen every 3 seconds and scales of weapon and spell damage. Though I really like this set, you can pick your own personal favorite instead, since I haven't really tied this to Adelaine's abilities. Let's end with a look at champion points. I'm still not very good with these, so please don't trust me blindly. In Warfare, my active stars are Master at Arms, Biting Aura, Thaumaturge and Untamed Aggression. In Fitness, I've gone with Siphoning Spells, Rejuvenation, Fortified and Boundless Vitality. In Crafts, my active stars are Master Gatherer, Treasure Hunter, Homemaker and Plentiful Harvest. Do choose the craft stars that make playing fun for you. When I made Adelaine, I set out to create a fierce damage dealer, a lioness strong and proud. I'm surprised to find a softer streak in her, a side that protects and heals those around her. I do like the way she turned out, even though parts of her are quite different from my expectations. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Ta!